We're going to do a video here on a stop. We had somebody ask us how to get a better stop on your mule, and I'm not quite sure where they are on their process, but I'll go from the basics of the basics, and we can always build on from there. So when you're riding, you should be sitting up in your saddle. This is kind of the first things first, is the seat. And when you're sitting in the saddle, your ankle to your hip to your shoulders should be more in a straight line. And to get this, that's a proper way to sit. From here, I'm going to be pushing my mule forward, and then and asking her to walk. And to get my stop, I'm going to try, I'd like to get it on a loose rein. Like, let's say we're working with a colt first. You don't have much of a control over the bit, and you shouldn't pick up on both reins on your bridle until they're laterally flexible. You get a nice bend in your bridle, where you can bend them around nice and easy, and they're soft. So that's the first thing. If you don't have that, you should definitely have that before picking up on both reins. So we're going to build a stop from not using the reins at all, just using your seat. That's kind of what I'm looking for. We might correct her with my reins, but I'm looking for her to stop with my seat. So when I'm going from a walk, I'll be sitting in the saddle, try to be aligned as much as I can. I still struggle with it, but we have to kind of have a posture riding straight up, having everything straight aligned. When I go to sit down and ask her to stop, I'm not going to bring my shoulders back and my feet forward. A lot of people do it that way. I like to be sitting here, and if you watch, it's almost like somebody giving you a gut punch to the belly. My shoulders kind of stay. My seat sits down in my seat, or sits down, and it's kind of like the air gets knocked out. If I have to, I might later on bring my feet maybe slightly forward, not a whole lot. But my shoulders shouldn't change a whole lot. And another thing to keep in mind is, as long as I am in that position, that should be also reverse. That's the same position you should do for reverse. So one thing to keep in mind, when you do ask her to stop and she stops, don't keep sitting down. Sit back up slightly in a relaxed state. Not straight up where you're going forward, but kind of a little more relaxed. And then when you ask her to stop, it should be like this. So, give you a little bit of demonstration. We'll see how she does. I might have to correct her a little bit. So I'm going to walk along here and ask her to keep walking. I'm going to walk her a little bit. We were standing there for a little while. And it's good if you can do this, like get them walking a little bit, trot them a little bit. Get them to search maybe to want to slow down. If you feel them starting to want to slow down, it's a good time to start doing this. This is not the first exercise I might work with if the mule doesn't know it when you get them out. So I'm going to keep walking here. And see here with her, I'm asking her to keep walking forward, and I'm going to ask her to stop. Now, that wasn't a hard stop, but it was a stop. And the farther along I get, the more correct I'm going to get with it. So I'm going to ask her to go again, sit up, ask her to go, and I'm going to stop. All momentum goes out. I'm going to sit back up. And don't forget to sit back up, because that is the cue to sit down. And sitting down and like the air's been knocked out, back should arch a little bit down here in this area when you're stopping. So another thing to work on, if you're this far, you might start pushing her up into the bit a little bit, pick up a soft feel, walk, and stop. And she wasn't, and here I'm going to stay in backup position because I want her back in, or stopping a little bit more with a little harder for me. I'm going to walk her off again. And stop. I want that. One thing to work on is going from the stop to the backup and getting that very smooth. I'm going to do it again. there she was looking to back up already. So that's one way to do it. Kind of the second way. So kind of work on that end. Let's say she completely misses the stop. We're working on it, and she's completely missing the stop. And she keeps on doing it because, like this mule, she is pretty laid back, and she was kind of lazy. So you had to build up momentum. You might have to ask her to walk forward, bring some energy into them, and ask them to stop and back up. The energy that you put in your body and into your stop should decide on how well your mule and horse stops. If you're sitting down slow, you can't expect your horse to stop or your mule to stop really fast. They should have kind of a lazy stop. So let me show you that end of it. That was a little bit of faster stop, so I'm going to walk her out. My body is slowing down a little bit. I'm going slower with my body. It's not as much energy. I'm going to ask her to stop. See the difference in the stop. So that's some things to consider. There's some more different things on in particular problems you're having with your mule. If they're not wanting to use your hindquarters and sit down, there's some other things I work on. But that's kind of the basics of the stop that I work on, and the idea, the whole idea behind it. So hopefully that helps you out if you're having that problem. Like I said, there's some more things that need to happen first before you pick up on 2 reins. But you can watch previous videos or later on videos and kind of watch those things. So hopefully that helps you, and thanks for watching.